So Nvidia is cutting the production of the 50 series GPU supply by 40% in 2026. 30 to 40% from what I heard specifically. This is just an article to go over the story itself. I'll have the link down below if you want to check it out. But let's talk about it. Okay, so this is clearly because of the memory RAM shortage that is happening right now. So this was to be expected. But let's talk about what this means for future devices, I guess. More specifically, consoles. I can imagine consoles being raised in prices a lot more because of GPU supplies being cut. But then again, consoles were already being raised in prices much more, okay? The thing is, it's the memory. I feel like the memory shortage isn't causing a crisis for companies, but for consumers only, because of these expensive prices only growing more and more in the foreseeable future. But for companies, this is all a strategy, which sucks to say. It really does suck. But I think Nvidia is trying to realign the priorities of what they're selling, really, in order to kind of match up with the whole AI skyrocketing investments. I feel like a bunch of buzzwords just now. Did I just say a bunch of buzzwords? I don't know, man. But listen, this is bound to happen, I guess. But I guess with how fast AI is like going and progressing, I guess the speeds of which companies like Nvidia and Crucial cutting production and making prices increase was also more faster than I expected. This is just insane, I guess. Hopefully it doesn't get worse from here, which I mean, I hope so. Okay, so for me, oh God, sorry, this is just like, what do we do? what do we do? Here's my take. Okay, I'm going to be riding the AMD train soon, and I also heard Intel was doing pretty good. Nvidia in history was known for having way better looks compared to AMD, as AMD always came in second place compared to GPUs released between Nvidia and AMD. This was due to stuff like ray tracing and the ultra graphics and just the visuals of how the GPUs from Nvidia can look. And games, some games like Sun Wukong, we're just called Wukong. The game Wukong, games like that being more catered towards the Nvidia GPUs itself. But here's the thing. AMD has recently released, not recently, a couple months ago, it's still recent. They have released a 9070 XT, a graphics card that I'll be switching to very soon. And it's a real competitor in terms of quality, but also pricing. And when it comes to pricing, they might be gradually getting the upper hand more and more if they keep up their prices with the 9070 XT graphics card. I keep talking about this because with all these companies raising prices and cutting supply, AMD seems to be doing the opposite. They're improving when it comes to GPUs now, and their FSR is getting better too. Some channels report their FSR being better than Nvidia's, was it DLSS, I believe? So they're catching up. AMD is definitely catching up when it comes to GPUs. But yeah, I also heard Intel was doing pretty good too, so I might look up more on Intel and see how they're doing. I was not expecting Intel to release GPUs at all, because I'm fairly new to this, and as someone who's new to technology in general, talking about Intel as a GPU manufacturing company was not in my bingo list. It just wasn't in the list of possibilities that I ever thought about. For me, they were always CPUs, and I guess it's due to my lack of research as someone who's new to all this. I just never knew Intel made GPUs in the first place. Maybe I heard one time that they did, but they were never anything noteworthy, I guess. But some videos I've seen on YouTube, which I'll talk about later, they've been doing apparently better. But yeah, this is just a chain of events, I believe, with Nvidia and RAM companies. I hope Corsair doesn't do anything crazy, because I actually do like the company Corsair and AMD. So I hope those two companies at least stay catered towards consumers and not AI. But that's not something I can be so sure about. And I really can't be sure about this at all. So what are we gonna do? Okay, what's the solution? Like I said, I think a lot of people will begin to switch to other companies away from Nvidia because their prices aren't worth the GPUs that we are supplied with. With RAM, 8GB RAM sticks being what it is, the prices they are now, higher, obviously, GPUs are going to be a higher price that aren't worth modern games or future-proof technology. You can buy a 30 series for like $200, but it's not worth it. Okay, I have a 2060 RTX, not for long though, but it can barely run any modern games at medium graphics. I have to set everything to super low resolutions and low graphics for everything. So for hero shooters, excuse me, that's fine. For hero shooters, I don't care because the frames is what matters to me. So when I run it at super low graphics, super low resolution, like 30, I get high frames, obviously. But when it comes to single player RPG games, I just want to explore the world and kill shit. I want my game to look good. So it's just not worth it, you know, having a 20 series or 30 series GPU because it's just, one, it's not future proof, and two, it just doesn't work with modern games as much as I'd hope for. So when I can buy an AMD graphics card for the price it is now, I would prefer AMD. I've also switched from an Intel core to a Ryzen core, and I'm liking it a lot. I really am. I switched from an Intel Core i7 to a Ryzen 9 5900X. I've been really happy with it for like the last 3 days, I think. It's just been amazing. So yeah. Shit, I might switch to Linux soon. So who knows? But overall, I've been happy with my experience with the CPU, and I can't wait to try out the AMD graphics card. Hopefully they don't do the same thing that Nvidia does, but again, I can't confirm anything. These are businesses that prioritize money over all else, and it's to be expected. So if AMD does stuff like this, I wouldn't be surprised, but yeah, I'd be disappointed. I'm sure a lot of other people would be disappointed too. But currently, AMD has been more of a consumer side than really a greedy AI loving other business side. I don't know. That's my take so far. My solution is switch to other companies that offer better prices, because Nvidia just doesn't do that. Okay, and I don't think waiting is going to help anybody. Things are only going to get more expensive from here on out, and I just don't see it getting any better. I really don't. Especially consoles too, because I didn't think consoles would be infected by the RAM shortage, but it was to be expected, I guess. I didn't look that far ahead as someone, again, who's new to this. I guess I'm just not like knowledgeable enough to look that far ahead, but it kind of just shows up in your face. Like, prices just go up rapidly, and you can just be like, oh, well, this is going to shit. That is not hard to see and not hard to realize. So with everything happening right now, it's just a shit fest. So my advice, switch to companies that offer better prices. I'm kind of giving up on Nvidia. I am. Again, I mean, it's just, I feel like as someone who, wants affordable and valuable stuff, it's not hard to see a switch from Nvidia to AMD or maybe some other company in the future that offers GPUs with better prices and good value, and not some overpriced, 5070 Ti or 30 series. But yeah, that's all I got for now. Bye.